Welcome to the Launch Party podcast, and we are back live finally after quite some time lifting off towards stratospheric success, and we want to take you guys along for the ride with us. It's been probably about coming on to a month now since we last went live with Mateo, which is a very cool episode. If you guys hadn't checked it out, we got a lot of great advice in that episode for especially like young people starting their career, going out into the world. I've been quite busy. I moved into an apartment. Obviously, my background's still the same for today, but coming on after this episode, I'm going to have a new background, so you guys will check that out soon. Growing up, yeah, new studio. Got a lot of expenses now. Shit is rough. Car payments, rent super expensive in Atlanta, food, everything. So you guys will kind of we'll probably do an episode on kind of the new like growing up and not being a kid anymore. Yeah, we'll probably do that. But yeah, I've been on a fishing trip. Took my first section of the CPA a while ago. I don't get my grade back till a couple weeks. So fingers crossed. Esteban, how have you been?
Been doing well. Been doing real well. Definitely was fiending to do another episode here, and glad that we're making it happen right now. And staying consistent is super important. You know, not letting that month turn into 3 months, turn into 6 months, turn into never. And yeah, just always finding a way to get back on it. And we've got a pretty dope guest here who I'll introduce for you guys in a second. So these past few weeks, I have moved states. So I was down in Quincy, Illinois, and I'm now up in Iowa City specifically, home of the Iowa Hawkeyes, which is a college town, big college town. So it's cool to have that college town feel again. I haven't had it since Athens, Georgia, back when I was in college, and definitely excited for football season whenever that rolls around. But one thing I do want to talk about specifically that I've been up to over this past month is I've been eating really differently. I've gotten really into basically crushing steaks every single day.
Nice.
Out here, there's, you know, if you go and you look for it, there's some access to some decent quality meats, you know, a lot of farmers, a lot of locally sourced, meat, eggs, stuff like that. So my fridge basically got ground beef, steaks, eggs, fruit. Throw on a little bit of honey. I throw honey on everything. Haven't been eating as many starchy carbohydrates, except for occasional meals out. And yeah, I'm feeling lean. I'm basically weighing about the same, but I'm noticeably leaner and stronger in the gym. So it's like I've been like trading fat for muscle in that way, even though I'm staying at that same weight. So yeah, just a little nugget I want to throw out there, something that I've gotten a lot of enjoyment out of over this past month. And I definitely encourage you guys to get your red meat game up if you want to.
But other than that, you're listening to my advice from that first podcast. We did that clip about the carnivore diet. Yeah. I do want to ask though, are you on caffeine? Do you do caffeine?
Not very often. I'm actually I say this as I'm drinking a nitro cold brew right now.
Same.
But no, I probably drink caffeine no more than once a week.
So what about your energy levels? Have you noticed a change throughout the day, morning, night?
I mean, my energy has always been decently high, but I think especially in the like early in the day, it's definitely been a lot higher as of late. Because when you wake up and you're eating a lot of carbs, and like maybe you wake up and you have toast with your eggs, or even if you have like beef and rice first thing in the morning, like that crash definitely comes harder. I notice like I'm not crashing as hard. And then, yeah, I mean, just throughout the day as well, energy in the gym has been good. And I've also been getting really back into running, putting in a lot of miles, and I've had the energy to do that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I was doing a lot of pre-workout almost every single day. And guys, my stomach, I think this is why my stomach got so messed up and I was having a lot of issues in the restroom, let's say. And I even thought I was lactose intolerant because every time I would have any kind of dairy, I would have muscle cramps and soreness and like insane bloating for like 3 hours afterwards. And I think maybe it was just the pre-workout I was doing or just the insane copious amounts of caffeine that it was just like messing up my stomach lining. So I finally got off that and I'm feeling a lot better. I don't think I'm lactose intolerant anymore. I was getting a lot of shit for that because I would always shit on like my stepbrother with his peanut allergy and anybody with allergies. But Yeah, if you're having stomach problems, try getting off the caffeine. It might help you out. But like you were saying,
Oh yeah.
Esteban, I think there's a cool stat that I just remembered. It's like something like 99% of people don't upload more than 20 or 21 podcasts. And like they end up just like quitting and not being consistent. So if we get a few more, we'll be in that top 1% of podcasters.
Top 1%ers. Let's go.
But yeah, we
Let's
got to
go.
go ahead.
So yeah, for this one, we've got a pretty awesome guest here. So Rich is someone I met down in Illinois. Met him through a friend, and you know, we hung out a few times. And one thing I want to mention before I let him take it, just take it off here, is that he right away, like he was interested in what we were doing here, and I could tell that, you know, he's the type of guy who just has stuff he would want to share, and could definitely have some lessons for us. But yeah, it was like he was asking me about the podcast. He was like, "Dude, I would love to come on," and I'm glad I remembered now that Danny came back. I was like, "Oh shoot, got to get Rich on." Boom, shot him a text all about it, and here we are. So Rich, how's it going?
Thanks for coming on, Rich.
It's going pretty good. I appreciate y'all having me on. I do want to mention that guest that we talked about was Oliver. He asked me to shout him out last night on the pod, so I'm gonna do it for it. But yeah, man, appreciate y'all having me out here. Yeah, I met you that one fateful night, and then the rest I think has been history. Really, I mean, we've kind of you know taking it off since then, seeing each other in the gym, stuff like that. And I didn't know you were that motivated, like you said you were. And I'm really happy to hear that from you. Like really good. And your breakfast comment, yes, you do get a carb crash in the afternoon, but I will say try oatmeal.
Because of
Try
fiber or
oatmeal.
something?
Yes, try. Well, even that, I have a psyllium husk powder. It's a fiber additive to it, and you don't even need that. You could just do that. But I'm just talking about energy. It's a complete carbohydrate, so those complete carbohydrates give you better energy sources than a regular carbohydrate would. Like rice is not much of a complex carbohydrate. It's a simple carbohydrate. That's why people are able to digest it and eat it so much and eat 300 grams of carbs and stuff like that.
Yeah, rice does go down pretty easy.
And French fries.
Yeah, no, 100%. You're hungry in an hour, man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, so I'm Rich. I'm originally from Chicago, and I moved down here to Quincy, Illinois in 2012, about 4 years after the recession. It got really expensive up in Chicago, and my dad ended up getting a job offer, so we were like, screw it, we'll come over and everything. So we did, and after that, I went to public school, and then I went to private school here in town, St. Peter's and Quincy, and then Quincy Notre Dame. But I was kind of not as a motivated man as I am now in high school.
None of us were.
I smoked a lot of weed, to be honest. And and I just kind of goofed off, and but I always thought it was fascinating that like I was always a student that like I could go into class, not pay attention, but look at the board and remember everything. Like that was one thing that was always like key about me. It was like I didn't need to study like everyone else did.
Do you think you?
But like now, when I'm in college, totally different game, man. Totally different game.
So are you in college right now?
But yeah, I'm a nursing major. I've been thinking about double majoring and becoming a pilot.
Okay.
Because yes, it's double-edged sword right there. And also,
Nice.
I have a wrestling scholarship at the place that I want to double major at. So I'd be like, whoa, wow.
So nursing school and pilot school?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Do you have a plane, or do you know someone with a plane so you can get your hours in?
I work in an airport.
Nice.
But when you do those flight schools, you train in an airplane, so you do get your hours
through the college.
Airplane. But
okay, yeah, they got Murfreesboro. Middle Tennessee has an airport in Murfreesboro, and they have flight school there. Yeah.
Dubuque too. Dubuque
Okay,
in Iowa.
Yeah, cool.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, and here in Quincy, they also have one at Quincy University.
Yeah, awesome.
But it's I don't know if I want to do it necessarily like back to back, but we could like maybe do it. It would be really hard, like a tall task to ask myself to double major and work. It would be really hard, but I'm driven enough and my goals are high enough where like I want to like I say this all the time, and I don't mean to say it in the weirdest way possible, but I'm trying to suck the shit out of this life thing as much as I can.
Hell yeah.
Because, dude, I had the sky's the limit. I'm 19
Literally,
years
you're flying.
old. I work two jobs. No,
I said you're flying, so literally the sky.
Yeah, literally. I work two jobs. I'm in school, and I'm constantly in the gym, always.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
100%. And like I'm full of anything. Like you come to me with anything and I will talk your ear off about it. You tell me this, you tell me that,
Here's
I will be
chance.
here for you. I'm that type of person. So let's get to it, man.
So let's
have some questions for you guys.
Okay. So yeah, let's have you touch on those once we just like get into the meat of everything. Real quick, I do want you to kind of continue on that what you had brought up when it just came to like your upbringing and sort of that transition that you had from like your high school self to now your adult self, and what were sort of the lessons along the way that made you want to make that transition. Because a lot of people, they're smoking the pot in high school, whatever, they're goofing off, and it just continues straight on down the line. So I would be curious to know, what was it that made you want to break and actually strive for better?
And also, for the audience, how old are you right now?
I'm 19 years old.
Awesome.
I was born in 2004. Nice. So I might look older, and I might sound older, but I'm
That's good.
Yeah, good for you. Completely young. But yeah, so when I was younger, well, not really younger, a couple years ago, and when I was in high school, I like had the idea that I wanted to like do cybersecurity or something like that, and I was like, oh, let me go to the military because the military, I didn't want to pay for college. Look at me now. Ironic, right? So I went to join the military and I wasn't able to join. And I was living at home at the time and I wasn't able to join because I had asthma. So yeah, it's a like automatic disqualifier. Like they don't care. So and it was weird. It was really weird because at the place, it's called MEPS. It's Medical Evaluation Processing System or whatever, MEPS. So at MEPS, they have you go out into this room and you take your shirt off in front of everyone. So I took my shirt off in front of everyone, and they examine you and whatnot, and everyone else is taking their shirts off, and I'm looking around and I'm like, how many muffin tops and beer bellies am I looking at right now? I'm over here with a six-pack. I'm in shape. I ran my butt off training constantly for it, and they want them boys in there. Like I have the utmost respect for the military. My dad was in it. It's been in my family ever since the Civil War, actually.
Whoa.
On two sides, actually, two brothers. They fought on the North and the South, which was pretty interesting, but that's for another day. And I was just like, man, I don't know. I didn't have much respect for the military after that because they always say they want people and they want a lot of troops and everything, but then they don't let you in when you go and want to fight for your country and want to fight for everyone else's freedom. I respect anyone and everyone who's ever served, but I did not respect the processing methods that they had chosen to use that day.
Yeah, it's
actually
harder to get into the military than college. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Well, they just throw money at you with college anymore now.
Yeah.
But after that, I was like, you know what? I didn't know what to do, and things at home weren't always the greatest, and that was kind of an intrinsic motivating factor of why I want to succeed, because my mom's side didn't really think that I was going to do anything, because I smoked weed, I was a stoner in high school. They didn't have faith in me, and I didn't decide to go to college. I was working, and I was working construction at the time, and I was like, you know what, let me try electrician. So I go in, I do the test, and I pass the test. I go in, they're like, we're gonna start you at $17.50. I'm already making $20 an hour, man. Like, come on now, I'm not gonna drop that. So I get out of there, and a couple months later goes by, and this is about midway through last year, and my dad calls me up, and he's like, hey, we got a job opening, $25 an hour. Come out here, you drive a forklift. It's the easiest thing in the world. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'll do that. So I did that, and then I was like, I'm not doing this the rest of my life. I'm getting into school. But I thought I could do that job and do school. No, you can't. You can't work 4 12s straight and also go to school. It's just impossible, because I had to wake up at 8 a.m. every day. So we got out of that, and now we're in school. We're a dean's student, and it's all because of one thing and one thing only: my family not believing in me. My family basically kicking me out of the house and saying that you're not worth it. You're not worth our time. So here I am now, living on my own, grinding every single day, nonstop. And I think I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my entire life, because once you get your diet in check, once you get your training in check, once you get your mind in check, your life's in check, and it's so much better.
Yeah.
So much better. And I are you guys religious or anything like that? Okay. So I recently found God a couple months ago. I was recently baptized
Good for you.
again. I grew up Roman Catholic. Thank you. Thank you. I grew up Roman Catholic because my grandmother, real hardcore Italian, she was church, church, God, 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 100%. So I was like, man, it sucks. Like, when you're a kid, you don't like to go to church. You don't like it being pushed down your throat like that. And me being pushed into a private Catholic school was even worse, because you got to do education, all that. So I got away from it, and life wasn't going too well, and I was like, you know what, something needs to be changed. But I didn't know what the change was, and my buddy invited me. My buddy Chris invited me to a youth group, like a collective for college students, and I kind of found, I didn't find him at first, but then I found him after I went the second time. It stuck with me, and it's been that way ever since. And devotion a day keeps the devil away, and I believe that 100%. Like, I read my Bible every day. I do this and I do that, and I try and treat people with the utmost respect, the way that I would want to be treated. And it's been working so far, and life's been great. And I'm just always happy to share wisdom when I can to anyone and everyone who wants to listen, because I love to talk.
Man, that's good to hear. Yeah, it's good to hear, brother.
Yeah.
Like you said, it kind of seems like, based on your upbringing and your household life, you kind of got a chip on your shoulder that you're trying to prove something, maybe to your family or maybe to yourself. Where do you think that motivation is really stemming from?
Intrinsic, more than anything. It started at actually, like, my initial, like, any like having any motivation in life started probably like my sophomore year during COVID, when everything like went to all hell,
Mm-hmm.
and gyms closed, all that stuff closed, and I was sitting around 220, man. 220 at 5'8". Let's
Wow.
say that too. 220 at five foot
Damn,
eight.
lost. Yeah.
And yeah, and I lost 60 pounds in 3 months. I ran 8 miles a
Let's
day
go.
and ate 1,500 calories a day. I was very
Yeah.
malnourished. But after that, I was just addicted to the grind, and ever since, it was like just one thing after another. It's not being motivated, more or less believing in yourself that you can do what you know you can do, what you think you can do. Like, if you believe you can lose 100 pounds, you'll lose 100 pounds, but you just got to put the work in. A lot of people nowadays are like, they look at the scale or they look at the mirror and they're like, nothing's changing. Nothing's changing. Damn it, I look in the mirror every day and I think I'm fat. I look at that guy, I still think I'm that 220-pound guy, even though I'm 180 pounds and I'm muscled up and everything. I still think that because you need to have that motivation. You need to kill that fat kid inside
Mm-hmm.
of you. Because once that fat kid is gone, that's when you grab life by the neck and you choke it out and say, "This is my way, and this is how I run my life."
Hmm.
Hell
That's
yeah.
the devil's talking. The devil talks and says that you need to do this. You need to act this way. You need to not go to the gym today. You need to not go to church today. You need to not wake up at this time at even though it's 5:30 in the morning, hit the snooze button 3 more times. No, get your ass up and get going.
Hell yeah. Do
Let's
you
go,
think
dude.
That's how I live my life, man. I balls to the wall 100%. I do not care.
Yeah. Do you think
Let's go.
that that fitness element where, like you said, you're 220 pounds, once you were able to, in some ways, conquer that fat, conquer that, and like have that discipline to build that physique, then that kind of was like an avalanche for
Mm-hmm.
everything else in your life, and you were able to just build on that?
Good question.
It was a slow build, a very slow build. Because, I was still in high school smoking weed and still working out.
Yeah.
Like, I had the
Right.
diet in there, but I wasn't motivated like that. I needed the oomph, the oh shit, what do I do next? I had that job, but I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. So I was like, all right, let's figure it out. And one day I was talking to my buddy, and he's in the nursing field, and I was like, yeah, man, I really like. I was bummed out. I didn't get to join the military, man. Like I was bummed out because I wanted to save lives. I wanted to protect lives. And he was like, man, if you can't do that out there, what is the best thing you can do as a civilian to save lives? Get in the medical field, become a nurse, become a doctor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what did I do? I did just that. And now I'm in school for it and I haven't looked back another step of the way. Like once you get going, once you get the ball rolling, it's just like getting out of bed every single day, just another day, another day, another day until you're there. And once you're there, it's going to be so sweet. So sweet. It's like a cheat day. I compare your goals like a cheat day.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean, Esteban?
Uh-huh.
Like you look forward to your cheat day. You like, all right, I'm gonna go out. I might get some Chick-fil-A. I might go get some Voodoo Donuts. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that stuff, man. Like that is great, and that's what I compare your goals are. You look forward to that one day, and that one day is eternity.
That's true. That's true. The finish line, you're never
Exactly.
truly there, but you keep on climbing.
No,
And I'm
no.
glad you mentioned, that story with losing the weight and then just the mindset that kind of evolved from that point. And I think it's uh, a good a good point where a lot of young guys our age can kind of reflect, like where was that moment, where was that first time that you really poured yourself into something, where was that first time that you really made a true sacrifice? And losing 60 pounds in 3 months is definitely a big sacrifice. And I can
Mm-hmm.
relate personally. You mentioned your sophomore year. For me, it was also my sophomore year. I wasn't quite 225.8. I was more like 205 200 at 5'11. But I was chubby, you know. I didn't like the way I look in the mirror. And then I started learning a little bit more about dieting, and I tried the keto diet, and I had some success. I got down to like 170, 175. It's like, okay, now I'm going to start going to the gym. Danny was one of my first workout partners.
24/7.
We had some really
Work out
good
anytime.
workouts back then. Oh yeah. And then it's like, okay, now I'm working out. Now I'm feeling better. Now I come back to school junior year and my confidence is through the roof. Okay, let me start dressing better. Let me start like learning about entrepreneurship. Let me start like watching videos. Let me start watching podcasts, and boom, 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 boom. But it just takes that first spark, right? It's that first accomplishment. And for you, it seems like it was, you know, that big weight loss combined with a couple other challenges that you were able to overcome. And for myself, it was something similar. I think a lot of guys can start there. Like if you feel like you're at a point in life where you're ready to really just take things to a different level, not to say completely reinvent yourself or anything. You don't have to make it a monumental task just yet, but start with what you see in the mirror. Do you like the way you look in the mirror? If not, go change it. It's one of the easiest things we can do, really. We can all lift weights. We can all control what we put in our mouth. Gym memberships, you know, go drop $20 on a Planet Fitness membership and you'll be rolling. And you will be shocked at the downstream impact that has on your psyche and the actions that you take thereafter. So yeah, go get in shape, and then you can start contemplating your life. But until then, just make it happen, and you'll thank yourself.
It's like what Tate, I think it's Tate that says this, is he's talking about kids who are depressed, hitting them up about this problem and that problem, and saying, "Oh, maybe I should commit suicide, or I should just stop, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Get a six pack, and then we'll talk about it." Like, get a six pack, and then tell me how you feel about it. Because once you get that six pack, right, and you got girl, and you start building your confidence, you start talking to girls a little bit. You're like, all right, this life thing ain't too bad, huh? It's kind of a good gig. But yeah, you just got to get that ball rolling. But Rich, I do want to real quick before we move on, kind of get back to your spiritual transformation. You said that second time you were at small group or something like that, and you found God, something changed. Can you like kind of talk about what that feeling was, what changed, what did that look like for you?
It was kind of the lesson that they were like talking about that day. It was like the topic was like, are you really who you actually want to be in life? Like, are you acting? Are you focusing? Are you reacting the way that you want to in life? And before that, I was a very reactionary person, and I still am. And what I mean by reactionary is like everything that would happen in life, I would like just I would have a reaction to it, and it would be either good or bad, but it would be a very vocal and auditory reaction. Or like if it was a text, someone plans got messed up or something like that, I was upset, and I just took it as me just, they didn't want to hang out with me or this and that. But I never even looked at other people's perspectives on how their lives are and how busy they are. And that really like put it into perspective, was like, I'm not who I want to be at all. I was not I'm not the kindest person. I'm not the patient person that I am. And I'm still not patient. Nobody's patient. Yeah, you're not going to sit there and wait 2 hours for something. Nobody will.
Unless you're a monk.
But yeah, exactly.
Months.
And and it was also like, it was itching at me too. It was like, I saw my grandma started to go back to church, and I saw how happy she had gotten. And I was like, maybe that might be the reason. So that was in the back of my head always. And then it was like totally transformative. It was like, I need to be the man I need to be now, not 2 years from now. I need to be it now. I need to grow up now. I need to react now. I need to take action now. Because until you do that, and this goes for anyone, male, female, 2024 pronouns anymore now. We are here. You You need to take action. You need to take a hold of your life, and you need to find out who you need to be, whether it is a father, whether it is a good brother, a good friend, a good son, a good steward, a good worker. Why can't you be all those at once? Why can't you do that? So I took that and I was like, this is a challenge from God. And God challenged me and I accepted the challenge and I take on that challenge every day. I have my bad days. Everyone has their bad days. But at the end of the day, as long as I know that if I had a bad day and say I lash out on someone, as long as I know that I made sure that I was a very apologetic, or I made them know that that's not me. That I'm trying to not be that. Please not act like that's me. As long as I'm able to do that, I know that I'm following God's plan to a T.
Mm-hmm. It seemed like it kind of opened up your eyes to the bigger picture a little bit and take a step back away from just your hedonistic wants and desires and look in the perspective of
Mm-hmm.
what other people see and other people's schedule and how other people are feeling, and kind of a little sympathy and empathy mixed in there, which is definitely good. Like you said, I'm not the person I need to be. I'm not the person who I think I could be. That's what Jesus is. He's the ideal. He's
Mm-hmm.
the perfect. He is what you should look up to try to become in yourself, though, at the same time. And then I also see, and you were talking about how you got to get to work and actually start doing these things now. I see a lot of self-proclaimed Christians a lot of the time that say, and I give this example a lot of the time, they say, "Oh, I need to pray. I need to pray for money. I need to pray for money. We have all these expenses, all these things going on. God's going to answer my prayer for money." And then you're just sitting around not working. It's not going to come out the sky. You got to put in the work, and the Bible's pretty clear about this as well. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. You got to put in the sacrifices. Like Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice, right? You got to put in the sacrifices for yourself, for your family, for your community, in order to get that kind of payoff in the end in eternity, where you keep building on those goals and stuff like that. It's not just going to come just because you pray it in a sense.
Well, yeah, I actually, I'm so glad you brought that up. I was talking to a buddy about that. Not yesterday, the other day. We were talking about that same like thinking. Oh, God will provide money. God provides the means to get money, but God will not provide the physical
Yeah, the
aspect of
opportunity.
money. And the means
Mm-hmm.
to get the money is your body. Is these right here. God provided these. These are your means. This and this are your means.
Yeah.
So go out there and get it. Go out there and take a hold of your
Yeah,
life.
it's yeah, some either pastor or motivational speaker talks about it a good bit. He's like, if you pray for courage, God's oh shit. No. Damn. All right. So this reminds me of like a pastor, or I can't remember, or a motivational speaker that was talking about when you pray for something like courage, God's not going to give you courage. Like it doesn't. It's like a piece of paper. He gives you situations where you can prove to be brave in. He's not gonna. If you pray for wisdom, he's not gonna just give you wisdom. He's gonna give you experiences to learn from. So it's really more than just an empty prayer. It's actually the actions and the opportunities you're given in life and making the most of it and doing your very best in every aspect.
Yeah, it's about the means that get you to the end, not the end itself.
Yeah, the journey.
And life is a marathon. It's I had to last year like just like look at myself and like ask myself, why the fuck am I rushing with this life thing? Like why am I trying to get everything done today when I have the entire year or the entire week? No, you just take one day at a time. One step.
Yeah.
It's like one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
That's a good point.
You could think of that. You could take that and use it in your life. One small step today is one giant leap for my goal tomorrow.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
was talking about this with my captain, we'll call him, in this Bahamas trip that I went on, and it was a great trip. We caught a lot of fish, caught our snapper limit, in case anybody was wondering, 50 snapper, 10 each. Anyways, he was talking about he had a landscaping business. He started when he was 16, ended up selling it because he was waking up every single day like, man, this is not what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. But to get to that point where he could be in the position to like capitalize on his achievements, he had to put in like a ton of work every single day, nonstop. And like when you're young, like we are, looking to the future, and you look at all these successful people, like, how do I even get there? Like, it seems so difficult, so hard, so complicated. I gave this analogy of like it's climbing a mountain, like climbing Everest, and we've talked about this as well. It's climbing an entire mountain seems like an impossible feat almost when you look at it as a whole. But when you look at it as like, all right, I just need to take one step, and then I need to take another step, and just take it one step at a time. Before you know, all those little steps add up into you're at the peak, and you're actually at the top, and it just takes one little thing after another, you know, consistently, continuously, to become successful at whatever it is.
Consistency. And one sort of theme that I think I'm picking up from you, Rich, just based off of your story so far, and the lessons that you're kind of sharing here, is it seems like you're someone who has been very much embracing the idea of maturing and growing into life. And I mentioned that specifically because I think it's a lot of us can kind of think that like, for example, like maturing in your spirituality, or for you, maturing in your your fitness, growing up, getting out of the house, getting out there on your own, becoming someone who can be well spoken and get along with people. A lot of people think that these things just kind of come with time. Oh, as time passes, hopefully, I'll become a better Christian. Hopefully I'll become, eventually I'll lose this body weight. Hopefully, by the time I'm 19, 20, 25, I'll actually look and act my age, and instead of just being a little kid. But a lot of people ignore the intentionality that you have to put behind it. And I think once you open up your mind to actually being intentional about maturing and seeing it as a good thing instead of a scary thing, then that's when you can start to really, really accelerate without even really realizing it. And now you, Rich, you're 19 years old, but I mean, you could sit here and tell me you're 25, 26, and I would believe it, right? And I'm sure you get that a lot. And it's not just the way you look. Of course, you have the facial hair, you're in good shape. That helps. That helps a lot. But a lot of it does come down to just the way you carry yourself, the way you act, the things that you say. And I think I can relate with that personally as well. A lot of people do assume me to be older than I am. I'm 21, but I've gotten a lot of late, mid to late 20s, and I didn't used to get that before. But it's maturing isn't a bad thing. Go ahead and start with that. But also, in order for you to mature, in order for you to grow into these things, don't just rely on time. Time isn't just going to solve all your issues if you keep doing the same things over and over again. So I think being conscious of that is really important. And I think I'm starting to see a bit of a common theme there in a lot of the changes that you've made, Rich. And it's a good thing, especially for us young guys. Before you know it, you won't be a young guy for long if you're actually, thinking about where you're going to take your life.
Yeah, time flies.
It's I kind of do have a toxic trait with it though.
How so?
And my toxic trait is like my peers, like the ones that I'm around every single day. I try and mold them into what I think they could be. Like I try and mold them into a successful person, and it almost is like deterring them away from me because I am so on them about,
So
hey,
true.
you need to take hold of your life. You need to do this. But it's like I don't mean it to be a dick. I mean it in a sense that I
My bad.
care about your success and I care about what is going on in your life. And
Yeah.
if you aren't doing what I think you can do, or you aren't what I think you can be, I'm going to call your ass out on it. And I'm going to be like, hey, straighten up, or I'm going to straighten it up for you.
Yeah. And I think
Dude, that's a really good
That's
point.
my toxic trait.
I mean, I think it's a battle that we all have to start fighting once we do start to grow into self improvement and start to really embrace it. And I'm really glad you mentioned that because I've damn near lost friendships over that kind of stuff. Like, over these past couple of years, like I've got these certain people in my life and I'm trying to bring them up. Hey, like let's get you going. Like, come, let's try this, let's do that. Boom, boom. I'm a very solution oriented person. And yeah, it's like once you start picking up steam in your own life, it's only natural for you to want to hype up the boys too. But I think
Exactly.
one thing I've started to find is that, when I was like 18, 19, I was really into it and I was really getting into self-improvement and I didn't have any filter either. I was just like, hey, like, dude, you need to do this, you need to do that, or at least try this, try that. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I was really into having those conversations. But now I think what I've started to get better at doing is having like almost a filter for who is the type of person that I can have these conversations with. Because the truth is, whether we like it or not, some people will hear that kind of stuff and hate you for it. They don't want to improve. They don't want to get better. They want to stay the way they are. And if you start to mention ways that they can get better, they will perceive that as you're mentioning ways that they suck and it makes them insecure and they don't like it. And then the friendship can never be truly cultivated because you always have this sort of filter. So I think in the past, I wasn't really as aware of it. And then now as I've matured, as I've grown up a little bit, I've started to realize some people you just shouldn't have those conversations with if they're not ready for it or if they're really not going to be about it at all. Because there still is value in having friendships with certain kinds of people, even if they are not exactly an example, if they're not exactly someone that you want to spend a ton of time around. Sure, you have them around, they're good to go have a beer with, whatever, da da da. And by you trying to hype up the wrong person, it can burn that bridge. But on the other side of the token, when you see someone who has potential and you start to get close with them, then I think that's when, like, okay, you can really, take a friend or someone or maybe someone who's a little bit younger than you and really help them grow. But what I'm getting at is there's always a balancing act that you're having to do because some people just hate it and spit it back out at you, and other people be like, okay, yeah, let's go. So you gotta know who you're dealing with. Was I lagging the whole time?
Yeah. So you're
I'm sorry.
you're just
I'm
lagging
so
a
sorry.
lot of it. That's fun, anyways. I think
Okay.
you're getting on
Well,
to
hopefully
some
it
good
comes out
points
good
here,
on
both of y'all. And
the
there are a
recording.
lot of variables that come into play. Number one being the delivery is very important. Yeah, it should download.
What was that, Danny?
So there are a lot of variables that come into play. Number one, the delivery of situations like this are very important, and also understanding that people are only going to change when, I don't want to say when they're ready, but it's like with Alcoholics Anonymous, like the first stage is acceptance. So you got to accept, and then whatever all the other stages are, it's like talking to an addict saying, hey, you're an addict, you need to stop doing drugs. Like that's not going to help them at all. And personal improvement and fitness and discipline are kind of like that in some aspects as well. But at the same time, like, the 4 or 5 people you hang around with, you are a combination of like the main people you hang around with
Average.
the most. And then I would say, and I think Rich, you're probably doing a pretty good job of this in your life, is, well, the first step, and I think the best step forward, is to lead by example. So make sure you got your everything lined up. You got your shit figured out, because us being young, in reality, we probably don't know shit. Although we could say things to people, it might do more harm than good. And you should clean your own room and have your own house in order before you try to clean someone else's house, basically.
For sure.
I love that saying. I thank you. I love that saying. That is, you gotta clean the dust and sweep and vacuum your own stuff. and clean up your own shit before you worry about cleaning up other people's shit. Because once, and it's like it's the same way with like people are like they don't know what their roses smell like when their rose garden's probably dead, but they're too busy smelling everyone else's roses.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I'm
that's a good
sorry,
point.
buddy, but your shit stinks. So maybe you need to focus on yourself instead of worrying about what I need to focus on. Because what I'm doing in my life is everything that I need to do. But you're not over here. You're giving me every excuse as to why you shouldn't be doing it, or as to why you can't do it. So thank you for that, because I had a breakthrough the other day, and I would love to tell you guys
Go
about
ahead.
this breakthrough with my buddy. So he's a little scrawny guy and everything, and he used to work out, and he doesn't work out anymore. He took about a year off. So I was like, "Hey man, you're always saying you want to work out. Let's go to the gym. Let's work out together. Let's work out together." So and this was Tuesday. It happened on Tuesday, 2 days ago. So we work together. I on one of my jobs we work together. So we're going out to the internship. It's about 30 minutes outside of town. We get out to the field, and the field's soaked, muddy mess. So I'm a field technician, representative. So I take data and shit like that. But that's besides the point. So we get out to the field. It's fully muddy. It's full of puddles and everything. And I just turned to him and I'm like, all right, you have no excuse now. You are going to the gym with me. I'm driving to Planet Fitness and you are getting a membership and we're working out together. And he looked at me and he was like, all right, you got me. Because he was already with me. I was the one driving. So I was like, all right, let me drop off my laundry and then we're going to the gym. And we got to the gym and I put him through my workout. But then today he was like, hey, you want to go work out again?
Nice. Yeah.
And uh, and I was like, yeah, sure. So we go work out and we had a great lift. So I think it's only a matter of time before he keeps on going and going and going with his working out and keeping his diet in shape, which he needs to get his diet in shape before anything. Because you know what he ate before he went and worked out today? Because he didn't have any breakfast. I had some cookies and Jolly Rancher gummies I gave him. I was like, you're going to have a great pump. Go at it. And he did. He did have a great pump, but I was sitting over there with my eggs and oatmeal in my stomach, and I had an even better pump, and I felt even better because it was
Yeah.
all around healthy food. Like, that's the one thing that I love about your workouts. You have a shit diet, and you're going to have a shit workout. But if you have a great diet, you're going to have a great workout.
Yeah, that's a good point right there. Good advice.
Yeah. I
Definitely,
mean,
definitely a very fulfilling thing when you have that moment, like you mentioned. He
oh,
looked
yeah.
at you and he was like, "All right, dude, let's go." And it can bring you like a lot of joy, like being able to
Mhm.
help someone improve like that. And I think that's part of why we're doing this. Why we're recording these
We're trying to
episodes,
improve.
because when we're putting these this media into the world, people do kind of have to be a little bit warm to it in order to actually watch our content. Um, and I do see that people who do have very large audiences, who have been podcasting for a very long time, they get that same kind of fulfillment, but on like a million X,
Mhm.
because they're connecting with all these people and helping all these people change. And yeah, that's definitely a long-term goal. I think of all of us is to just be able to help a bunch of people get better to some extent.
And us. And Rich, when you were talking, it kind of reminded me of, like you said, that gotcha moment, that revelation that you had with your buddy there. It was like what James Clear talks about in Atomic Habits, which is a quick and easy read in case anybody's interested. You should definitely go and read it. Is he talks about a couple things. Number one, making it easy. So you got him. He had you got to change your social circle, which makes it easy because then you want to embody the same actions that the people around you embody, and then you just happened to be there. It was a muddy day. You had no other choice, and then you got there, and it was a good time. And now you want to do it again. So he was kind of put in the situation where it was almost easier to go and work out than to do anything else. And so that's what James Clear talks a lot about in Atomic Habits that's how you build the habits. You gotta change around your environment so you don't keep on building those bad habits, and you start building new ones, good ones.
Yeah, change your friends and your life will change.
Yeah, you are who you hang around.
And that's
yeah.
100%. Like once I was like out of high school and was like away from that friend group, I stopped smoking weed as much as I did. You know, I started going and doing things that I wanted to do in life. And I ended up finding two really good friends that I've kept since then. And I find myself trying to mold myself into them. And it's like, no, they'll be who they want to be, but you need to do all you can to sway them into what you think they can be and the best person that they can be. So I'm not going to sit by and let anyone ruin their life or do anything like that. If I'm able to help them out, why not?
Yeah. Well, Rich,
Why not?
yeah, definitely. I want to kind of get into the future a little bit. What you're studying nursing right now, you might want to do the double major and be a pilot. What are your goals for the future? Maybe a year from now, 5 years from now, or 4 years from now. What do you think that looks like for you right now?
Well, a year from now, I will be away from community college, thank God. And I'll be on my way to either the University of Mizzou or the University of Dubuque to go and double major.
Nice.
If I go to Mizzou, I will not owe a lot of money
Yeah.
in student loans. But if I go to Dubuque, I will, because I'll be double majoring. But with that double major comes a lot of money. So it's only a matter of time. But also at the same time, it's like in 5 years, I want to be doing my master's program because I want to eventually teach and give back to the community that gave so much to me and teach young men and women how to nurse and do daily activities throughout their nursing career, whether it's I teach a class or I'm an advisor. I want to be able to have that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And once I'm one, and that's where the pilot thing comes into play. So say I'm teaching, right? I'm working 6 months out of the year and I'm off 6 months out of the year. So what am I doing with that 6 months that I'm off out of the year? I'm flying. I'm being a pilot. I'm working for a company and I'm doing that. And then there's a lot of doctors that fly in. There's a lot of nurse practitioners that fly in to do jobs. And I'm wondering, if I have that and I have that, license, what if I get that opportunity and I have that opportunity to fly into places and work there for a month, a week, 2 weeks, and they'll pay me to fly in and stay there and extra? Why wouldn't I do that?
All right.
Like I said, I'm trying to suck the shit
Nice.
out of this life thing.
Yeah, yeah. So you're thinking work as a nurse or maybe teach nursing and fly,
Later.
teach nursing later. So if you did the double major, you would work as a nurse part time or like half the year and then fly the other half.
So if I do the double major, this is the goal. So if I do the double major, the flying will be a hobby
Oh,
in the
okay.
meantime, because what I will be wanting to do will be travel nursing, so I can go and travel and see the world. And eventually, I want to be a flight nurse and be a nursing
Ooh.
flights, because that's how you really travel the world. But travel nursing also is like, I want to be in a spot for 3 months at a time and work that and get the worst cases, make a difference, show that I have the skills to do it. Because the travel nurses get the worst patients, they get the worst surgeries. So why not do that? I'm up for I'm up for the task and I'm up for the challenge, and I want to do that. I want to give back to people and I want to save lives.
Yeah. No, that's
Awesome.
some great goals to have. The one piece of advice I would give you that I give all like freshmen or incoming kids into college is to actually read the important parts of the syllabus. And everyone out here that's starting college or even in college, literally the most important thing you can do is read how the grading works on the syllabus, all the assignments. If you are an organized person, write down all the due dates in a calendar or something and know exactly what you need to do and what grades you need to get on each assignment to get your desired grade. So whether it's an A or a B or just to pass, know exactly what you need to do. You know, if participation counts as a grade, if attendance counts as a grade, understand all that going into it. That's if you do that and then you go to class, you'll probably get an A. If not, you'll definitely get a B.
Yeah, actually reverse engineer your results instead of just freestyling.
I definitely will take that advice 100% to myself.
Rich, where would you say, like, say 5 years from
Yeah,
now?
know exactly what you need to do ahead of time.
Aside from, can you guys hear me? Oh,
yeah.
Can you guys hear me? Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So 5 years from now, let's say personally, maybe your mindset, just your sort of growth outside of your career. How do you think, say into your mid-20s, where do you want to be at there?
To answer your question, no, I don't want a family. I'm not looking to start a family anytime soon until I'm in my 30s. Obviously, Obviously, any man is looking for the right woman, but I want to find that woman that wants to go on that life journey with me, wants to go and travel around the world and see that with me. Because as a single man, I'm more than happy to do that because I can get with and do and see whoever and wherever I want. So, I'm not gonna sit here and try and have things hold me back, like have a girlfriend or do this or do that. If it comes to me, it comes to me. But I'm not gonna come out here and look and make a fool out of myself and go out to the bar all the time like all these guys are and just constantly just throw myself at chicks because I see it all the time when I go out.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like I just ask myself, why am I here? This is not me. This is not who I want to be. This is the exact opposite of what I want to be. And if anything, the reason I go out to the bars is to remind myself what I don't want to be, so I keep myself motivated.
Yeah.
We've all had that
It's
moment.
funny. It's really funny.
Oh yeah.
But you know, and like where I do have a question for you guys.
Sure.
Where do you guys see yourselves in 5 years, family wise, or even starting, or even thinking about that?
Danny, go first.
Yeah. So if you go back to one of our first episodes, we did do like some kind of goals and past life and where we see ourselves and objectives episode, something like that. So if you guys want the full scoop, go ahead and check it out. But to answer your question, Rich, for me, man, life's moving fast. I'll tell you what. And I kind of want to just let you know that especially if you go to a cool place like Mizzou, dude, there's going to be so many cool people you can meet and so much like obviously you don't have to go to the bars and be stupid, but just remember that, dude, you're only 19 and have fun while it lasts because holy shit, when I coming into college, it felt like it was going to be like an eternity and I didn't even know what to expect. And then those 4 years just fly by. So it's kind of crazy to just really take every day, don't take every day for granted and actually try to enjoy yourself when you're a kid and still work hard and stuff like that. But for me, definitely, I want to start a family, have kids. 5 years from now, what am I? I'm about to be 23. I'll be 28. So that's probably when I would ideally want to start having kids, is when I'm like 28 to 30. Um, in terms of my career and stuff, these first couple of years are just going to be a grind. Like I said, right now I'm studying for the CPA. So that's all day, every day is what I'm pretty much doing. Trying to learn as much as I can in these next couple of years and really just develop my resume and my career. And then possibly right now, my plan is to work like 3, 4, maybe that 5 year, go to a Ivy League MBA program, probably in finance. And then once you do that at a top 5 program, then the sky's the limit in terms of opportunities and networking and the people you meet. So that's kind of my plan right now. But just taking it one step at a time, grinding. I'm living with my girlfriend now, so we're having a lot of fun and having expenses and new apartment. We'll probably get into that stuff on a new episode, but yeah. What about you, Espan?
Yeah, I would say, I guess I'll start with just kind of like my career and overall outlook there. I definitely, over these next 5 years, want to grow my network a lot. I want to do a lot of traveling internationally, meet a lot of awesome people. Explore as the opportunities come entrepreneurial ventures. I do think that in the long run, when I'm on my deathbed and I look back on my career, it will be some sort of entrepreneurship. So I'm not exactly sure like what that specific form will be, 10, 20 years from now, right? But, explore those sort of ventures and see, given my sales skills, given other skills that I might develop, how can I, and the network that I build, how can I put all this together to create a fruitful career? And yeah, I mean, when it comes to family, I'd say my time horizons are definitely a little bit longer, probably closer to yours, Rich. I would probably push mid to late 30s is probably when like that sweet spot for me. Just because I think that, for your 20s as a man, very, very important time to build, to grow, to meet people, to make the most out of yourself. And then once you're a little bit older, once you're a little bit more seasoned, once you have that gravitas and you have that life experience, then you're in a much better position to, find the right woman for you and then also be able to provide more value to her and your children. So yeah, I'd say that kind of would be how I answer that question. Basically spend my 20s, really building and just moving around and finding people and growing my network. And then, mid 30s, late 30s ish, settle down. And I probably would have a lot of kids once that point comes.
Yeah, we got a job to do. Got to populate this planet.
Mm-hmm. Dude, yeah, everybody in 100 years, everybody's going to be dead. It's actually kind of crazy.
2 is enough.
No, you need what is it, like
2.1?
Yeah, you need 2.1 kids to keep the population growing.
Mm-hmm.
Or not, that would be to 2.1 would be to like not grow, to sustain. You need more than 2.1
Right.
kids.
What if Siamese twins?
That's a good question. I think that's just one. Do they have
I
different
don't know.
social
I don't know if
security
those count
numbers?
as two people.
They've got to have the same SSN.
I've never like, do they?
I don't know. They've got to have the same.
Who knows?
Oh my goodness.
Like, what about a driver's license? They
That's
have different driver's license?
Do they drive?
Yeah, it's just like
Can they drive?
max,
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's how we would answer that, Rich. In terms of our goals here, especially as it relates as like our career kind of ties into family. I think it's a super important connection.
Yeah, the 20s are definitely for growth and development, building that foundation. So, and we talked about this with Mateo, those 20s are really for building the skills to become economically worth something in your 30s, 40s, 50s. And then once you've really mastered those skills, then you could either like build a business with those skills and then sell it later, or just keep upgrading the amount you can earn and just keep mastering those skills. So, and another point I want to get on is kind of understanding that, like, we're young right now. We don't, and you're kind of talking about this too, Rich. It's hard to find exactly what you want to do in the future, like exactly who you want to be. And you kind of talked about this with your spiritual journey as well, but just doing everything that's right to do now to the best of your ability. And then, like you've been saying, things are starting to smooth out and your life's getting better and everything just kind of just goes uphill from there. If you actually just do what you think is right to the best of your ability now, and then more things will reveal to yourself or, later on. But what other questions you got for us, Rich?
Well, another question would be like, how do you guys like, how do you guys, how would I word this? How do you guys know how to like manage what you want to do, but also what you need to do?
Mm, that's the golden question right there. I guess is what you're asking, like the difference between like how do we ride the line between like our desires and our goals.
Yes. Yes.
I would say a lot of it comes down to putting yourself in a position to where what you want on a day-to-day basis starts to align itself with what's going to move the needle forward. Um, for example, I told someone the other day that once you start finding ways to have fun doing things that are productive, you start to become really bored when you're doing things that are lazy. So an example that I have in my life is running. So let's just say it's 8 p.m. or even 2 p.m. and I'm not working that day or whatever, and I don't have anything to do. I know I can always just throw on my shoes and go for a run, and I'll have a great time. I'll listen to some music. I'll go smell some fresh air, and it's also going to be really good for my body, right? So I think from the way I look at it personally, um, as I grow older and as I get more and more seasoned over time, stop smiling. I'm sure I'm lagging. Um, I want to become even better at finding ways to have fun and like do things that I really really like and like that just really produce a lot of dopamine in my brain and I really really enjoy. But those same things help move me forward and help me be productive. And a lot of it can come with socializing as well. There's a difference between going out to some dive bar at 3 a.m. and going to a nice cocktail bar with guys that you could do business with at some point. You're still at a bar, you're still drinking, you're still kind of shooting the shit. But in one case, you're going to wake up the next morning and hate yourself. And then the other one, maybe you're in bed by midnight and you made a couple awesome connections. So it's just like, I want to start just cultivating more of those sorts of activities that are productive yet enjoyable. So that way I don't have to feel guilty. I can enjoy myself and progress through life and just create a movie out of it.
Yeah, I think what Esteban's hitting at is probably the same experience you went through, Rich, when you lost all that weight, started working out, started going into the gym. You made it fun, you made it desirable, you aligned your wants with your needs, in a sense. And then secondly, I'll kind of go a little on the other side of the argument is also sometimes you just got to actually be a man and understand that there are things you need to do that you're not going to want to do. You're not going to feel like doing it. You're going to want to do something else. You're going to want to be lazy. You're going to want to play video games. You're going to want to do drugs. But you got an assignment that's due tomorrow. You want to hang out with friends, but you got shit to do, and you just got to actually do it. And then once you start doing it, it's that avalanche again. It's that snowball. It's once you actually start doing it, and you can program your mind, you can grow that muscle in your head that says, "Okay, I'm not going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to do what I actually need to do because I need to grow up and I need to
Mm-hmm.
develop, and I got shit to do." Then and then it gets easier and easier, or maybe it doesn't get, maybe the difficulty is the same but your capacity to do it grows. So there's two different sides to it, obviously, but just also when you're in college and you're young, just have fun too, a little bit. Don't worry about it too much.
Rich, how
Well,
would
I
you answer that
mean,
question?
dude, dude, I I I I partied in high school. I don't need to party now. Like, I got all that out of my system. I'm in
Nice.
grind mode now. Like, when I get over to Mizzou or get to wherever I'm going, it's gonna be school work. That's all it's gonna be. I'm not there to party. I'm not there to make friends. I'm there to succeed and get to the end goal. I'm not there to yeah, I will go and have fun, but like I'm not gonna make it a habit. I might go like once a month. I'll go out or like twice a month, but like I'm not gonna. And I do that now. I don't go out. I don't spend money. I make home cooked meals. I stay inside and I do my homework and I grind, and I'm constantly reading. Reading is a big thing for me. I'm constantly learning and just trying to immerse myself. Like a big thing that been doing recently is the stock market. Like really immersing myself in the stock market and cryptocurrency, and like learning how to trade, what I need to do, how to track it, and just and that's productive thinking and that's productive reading, because you can make yourself rich through that, and you can enjoy it, and you can, like you said, both of you said, you can do something productive, but you can also have fun doing it.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to just like sit there in front of a book for hours on end reading it. Like go out and go outside and read it, or go and read this news article and learn how you can help your community or be productive today in life. And I loved what you guys said, is like also touches on, like, do you think like as you get older you outgrow your friends, like you out mature them, or like you could outgrow your parents in an aspect of like you have a higher level of thinking, but yet the people that you surround yourself with don't aren't on the same plane, don't have the same ideas, don't have the same goals that you want to achieve in life? Like, do you think that that is a
Well,
possibility for it?
it depends, Rich. Do you care about these people?
I do care about them.
Well, so in a sense, you can be on a different path than your friends at the time. But if you care about them, that doesn't mean you're gonna stop hanging out with them. And if you care about somebody, you're gonna want the best for them. And usually, the best doesn't mean you just leave them. Usually, the best means
Yeah.
you try to help them. Maybe they're not ready for help, but what you can do is be the best that you can be, and hopefully, eventually, they'll try to follow you along the way. So I would just say be careful with that line of thinking, because I mean, for example, I'm stupid, man. Like I don't know shit. The reason why we have this podcast is so hopefully I can learn something and kind of get whatever audience we have along that journey with us. Um, we don't have this podcast to say that we know everything and that people should be listening and do whatever we say. It's kind of the opposite. It's I don't know anything. I'm going into it with the idea, the mindset that I don't know shit, but maybe this will help me learn something. So I mean, I would say the people that you don't care about and you suppress them, then yeah, like you need to find a better group to hang around. But the people that you actually do care about, think of them like you have a elderly family member, like maybe a grandparent or something like that, that is starting to deteriorate in terms of their health and their capabilities. You don't do is you don't do every single thing for them. You don't make every dish for them. You don't wipe their butt for them every time, because then they're going to just deteriorate way faster. What you do actually, and there's like literature on this, psychological and medical, you you help them do on their own what they need to do to like continue to develop and grow and not deteriorate. Once they lose that sense of independence and they're completely dependent, then they move downhill way quicker. So it's kind of that same idea where you got to let people you got to let the people you care about do what they need to do on their own, and you just need to try to guide them in the right direction. Yeah, that's kind of a long-winded tangent there. We kind of lost Esteban, I guess, again. Hopefully it's still recorded. What do you say?
I didn't mean like the ones that I like see I'm with every day, because obviously like I don't ever want to outgrow them. I meant the ones that like, you know, I'll see every now and then and we'll hang out and stuff, but like it's just like you can tell that like the stuff and the way you hold yourself is like way more mature, way more grown, and in an aspect like way more adult like than what they are. And They could be 17 years old or they could be 25 years old, and it doesn't matter because people grow up at different rates in life and people mature at different rates in life. I'm buddies with a guy who still goes out and drinks every single day.
Yeah.
And he is 25 years old. And he's sitting there wondering, why is my life not going the way I want it to go?
Well, shit. Maybe he should like stop drinking every day and do something.
You see, he has everyone. It's like it touches back on what you said. Is like people can be told everything they need to do, but unless they actually want to do it, it's never going to get done.
Yeah.
You're never going to see them be the person they need to be unless you just take a step back and either let it happen or it doesn't.
Yep. Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Those people that you see like once a month or twice a month that you don't really care about as much. Yeah, that's probably if you outpace them in terms of your maturement and they're just being degenerates every single day, then it's definitely valid to want to surround yourself by a better group of people so that you can continue to develop and they're not holding you down. But at the same time, like I said, the people that you care about, you want to stay there for them and try to care for them because they matter and your actions and your words actually do make a difference. So it's important to understand that. People think they're just a grain of sand on this rock that has no significance, where I mean, I don't think that's true at all. I think every action we take really does have like a butterfly effect and makes a difference in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's like treat everyone the way that you need to be treated that day,
Yep.
not how you're feeling that day. It's like I always tell people like I love to cook. I'm a really good baker and I'm a really good like meat artist, I guess. I don't know how you would
Meathead.
like say that. I'm good on the grill. I'm really good
Grill
on the grill.
master.
So I've always said that through my food, I try and put love in every bit of my food because my food spreads love, joy, happiness, and laughter throughout people's
There
lives.
you go.
And it goes with just a simple word, to a simple bite, to a simple drink, to a simple thought. That at the end of the day, that the little things count and the little things matter. So watch the ways that you speak and treat people because at the end of the day, the little things that you do are going to be 10 times more than the massive events or gestures that you try and give, like a bouquet of flowers, or no, just he held the door for me today, or he said I looked good, or he was like, hey, how's your day, or stuff like that. That's the stuff that keeps people going. That's the stuff that keeps the good people around you and weeds out the bad people. Because I'm not gonna give, like, I'm a big believer in like normalizing not giving energy to people that don't give it back to you.
Mm-hmm. Don't talk to people.
You need
Don't talk to people who aren't listening.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. 100%. Because why waste my breath on you? Why? When nothing's going to get done. Why should I go out of my way to try and make you do this, because you're not even going to do it when I'm not here. So why should I expect you to do it when I'm here?
Yeah.
You put it nail on the coffin right there. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Sure thing. And one last thing, that philosophy that we're talking about, where what your actions and your words and who you are actually do matter in the grand scheme of things. I think this definitely gets down to the relationship between the philosophy of like so-called atheists or agnostics versus like believers or Christians. It's in an atheist point of view, and we don't have to get too religious, but everything happened randomly, right? Everything's a byproduct of random evolution and infinite chance. And so
random spontaneous combustion.
Yeah. So in reality, you're just a part of that random process, and everything you do is also just, in a sense, random as well. Whereas in the Christian point of view, every person is made in the unique image of God, and everyone has that divinity within you. And the world and the universe is all a byproduct of divine intervention and purpose and meaning, in a sense, or else it wouldn't have been created at all. So everything you do actually does play a role in that overarching purpose. So I don't know, just food for thought there. But yeah, Esteban, did we get you back?
Can you hear me? We got a delay.
Yeah, you're a little delayed, but
yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No, nothing super particular. I think this was a good one, and I think like me personally, I could relate to a lot of what Rich was sharing. And
right, forget it.
Trying to reconnect. Am I still here, or did I get booted?
Yep. All right. So, any closing thoughts, Rich? It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast, Rich. You're only 19, but definitely, you got a lot of wisdom and a good mindset heading into these next few years. So hopefully everything goes well. Anything else you want to leave the audience with?
If there's one thing, if I could leave the audience with one thing, it'd be that make every day your own day. Make it to what you need it to be, not to what anyone else needs it to be. Conform your day to your thoughts, your needs, and your actions, because you are going to be there for every minute and every step and every time that you make a decision in your life. You're going to be there. No one else is. So do everything throughout the day and throughout your life with you in mind and with your success in mind. Because if you don't, you're not going to be anywhere in life. If you constantly care about people and step around eggshells every single day and think, oh, how would this hurt someone's feelings? Or, oh, if I acted this way, how would someone feel if I took advantage of my opportunity today? Take advantage of what God has given you. Take advantage of the green grass that you get to step out on every single day. And by golly, if you need to, make a snow cone out of life. Make it colorful, make it taste good, and make it sweet, and make excuse me, and make every flavor that you put in that snow cone a flavor that's going to last.
Yeah, man. It's your life, so make it worth living, and you gotta put in the work by yourself. Ain't nobody else gonna put in the work for you.
Exactly.
All right.
I appreciate the opportunity, boys. This was an amazing opportunity. And if you ever want to have me on again, I'd be more than happy to. And I'll have a better picture, just to let you know.
For sure. Thanks, Rich. Thanks for coming on. Esteban, everything good over there?
I'm just hanging out at this point.
All right, thanks for watching, everybody. If someone else does want to get on the podcast at some point in the future and has an interesting story they want to tell, or some wise words and life advice, hit us up. You can email us or DM us, or just post something in the comments and we'll get it rolling. Thanks for joining. It's been real. See you, Rich. Thanks for coming on and sharing your piece.
Salute.